Hey, buddy. Can I help you?
Hello! Buckaroo Banzai?
Welcome to Watch Mojo. And today we're counting down our picks for the cheesiest 80s films. Keep in mind, cheesy doesn't always mean bad, as many of these campy classics are beloved for their quirky takes and nostalgic appeal.
Take your time, watch your gun sights, lead your targets, and above all, relax!
Number 10, Xanadu. Featuring a down-on-his-luck artist named Sunny, a magical girl coming to life from a drawing, and more neon than a dozen other films combined, Xanadu is quintessential 80s cheese. The fantasy musical tells the tale of an ancient Greek muse that arrives in Los Angeles in 1980 and inspires Sunny to create a fantastic roller disco. The film was so reviled by some that it helped create the notorious Golden Raspberry Awards.
Kira,
Sonny, how did you get here?
you didn't think I'd let you get away from me, did you?
You'll have to go back.
Okay, I'm ready. Let's go.
Yet the film and its soundtrack, featuring star Olivia Newton-John and Electric Light Orchestra, earned a number of fans. In fact, it endures to this day as a cult classic.
Now that I'm here, now that you're near, in Xanadu.
Number 9, The Karate Kid Part 3.
Sensei Kreese, this is Pat Johnson from the All Valley Tournament calling again. Look, we're sorry you lost all your students. I guess the Cobra Kai won't be entering the tournament this year.
Evil karate instructor John Kreese has fallen on hard times since his student lost a tournament and vows revenge against Daniel and Mr. Miyagi. Rather than enact it himself, however, he calls a previously unmentioned Vietnam War buddy, Terry Silver. Being an 80s bad guy, Silver is naturally an evil billionaire with slicked back hair who casually discusses dumping nuclear waste and makes calls from his sauna on a very large cell phone.
Make his knuckles bleed.
Hey, I like that!
Bizarre elements include climbing down a cliff to save a bonsai tree, Ralph Macchio playing a teenager while in his late 20s, and a finale carbon copied from the original. It even had one of the best and cheesiest scenes of the decade, with a deranged Kreese jump scare.
Let's show Mr. Kreese how he's gonna get his business back.
Number 8, Big Trouble in Little China.
See? That was nothing. But that's how it always begins.
Collaborating with Kurt Russell for the third time in the decade, Big Trouble in Little China finally allowed director John Carpenter to realize his dream of making a martial arts film.
What's happening, Wang?
Chinese standoff.
A what?
Make a sound.
In addition to being a martial arts action film, Big Trouble was a comedy, fantasy, and monster movie all rolled into one. Russell plays normal guy and truck driver Jack Burton, who inadvertently gets caught up in an ancient battle between good and evil when trying to collect on a bet.
And so now we have to grab your fiancé
Wait
very
a
fast.
minute. I'm a reasonable guy, but I've just experienced some very unreasonable things.
Depends on how you look at it.
The hell it does. So somebody, I don't care who, tell me what is going on.
That evil is, of course, the immortal and powerful Chinese sorcerer David Lopan, now residing in San Francisco's Chinatown and played by fellow 80s legend James Hong. Number 7, Flash Gordon.
You may leave. Tell the world what Hans Zarkov has done.
Well, I guess I'll be running along now.
You lunatic!
Italian producer Dino De Laurentiis long held the film rights to a Flash Gordon adaptation. During the 70s, relative unknown filmmaker at the time, George Lucas, lobbied to make the film. However, De Laurentiis refused, preferring a more comedic take for the adaptation of the comic and film serial character.
Any final request?
Yes. Let me see Dale right away.
Oh dear. How pathetic. Yes, I anticipated that.
The effects paled in comparison to the space opera Lucas went on to make, Star Wars. The script for Flash Gordon was tonally confused and starred a complete unknown, all of which gave it a certain charm. Most importantly was the decision to forego a traditional score for a soundtrack from glam rock legends, Queen. Number 6. Real Genius.
Dr. Hathaway, I saw your show the other night on radioactive isotopes, and I've got a question for you.
Yeah?
Is that your real hair?
Yeah. But tell me, is Mitch by any chance adopted?
Why, no.
It's amazing.
In this film, a technological genius, Chris Knight, would rather use his talents to invent floating lounge chairs and attend parties than work on his college assignment, a giant laser. However, after some light blackmail from his professor Hathaway, played by frequent 80s bureaucratic bad guy William Atherton, Chris and his roommate eventually create the laser.
Ready? Laser on.
Of course, Hathaway is secretly working for the CIA, and they plan to use the laser to illegally assassinate targets from space. This leads to a finale where the team of geniuses must stop the agency from using their invention for evil. In the end, they save the day and use the laser to pop a tsunami of popcorn in Hathaway's house, all while Tears for Fears plays over the closing credits. Number 5. Masters of the Universe.
Help! Help! Get me out of this!
It's all right.
Help! Help! Help somebody!
Based on the massively popular toy line from Mattel and the subsequent animated series, the live-action version of Masters of the Universe forewent the fantastical locations on planet Eternia for much of the runtime. Instead, a scantily clad He-Man, played by a frequently overdubbed Dolph Lundgren, and his nemesis Skeletor, played by the over-the-top, in the best way possible Frank Langella, traveled to a much more budget-friendly 1987 California.
I believe you have something that belongs to us.
Well, let me guess. That music gizmo there?
The sorceress we found.
Freeze, all of you. Choice, really choice. What is this, a circus act?
The film faced a number of budgetary problems and restrictions due to Mattel's tightening purse strings, leading to a final duel between He-Man and Skeletor that was shot in near darkness. It's no wonder that, despite a post-credits stinger, there was no sequel.
I'll be back.
Number 4. The Running Man.
I said the crowd is unarmed. There are lots of women and children down there. All they want is food, for God's sake.
Taking place primarily in the far-off year of 2019, the masses are distracted from the fascist world they live in by a colorful blood sport on TV known as The Running Man. Criminals don bright spandex and must survive a deadly gauntlet to allegedly win their freedom.
Let's get out of here. Come on. Weiss, come on. Go.
In their way are the Stalkers, killers with outrageous costumes and weapons boasting signature themes and creative ways to dispatch their targets. Playing a cop framed for an atrocity by his government, Arnold Schwarzenegger understood the assignment and absolutely hams it up in a wonderfully over-the-top performance that's full of his signature one-liners.
Good luck.
You too.
Number 3. The Last Starfighter.
You can do it, Alex. You can do it.
Come on, that's the one. That's the one we want.
A year after Return of the Jedi ended the original Star Wars trilogy, studios wanted to make the next great space opera, and quickly. So quickly, in fact, that The Last Starfighter was shot in just 38 days. However, the film is not necessarily memorable for its production, but rather its post-production. You see, it's one of the first films to use CGI extensively.
Activate automatic repulsor guns.
This early use of CG firmly gives it an unmistakably 80s look. And seeing how its plot involves a talented arcade video game player using his skills to save the galaxy, it really could not have come out in any other decade.
We need time to recharge. Laser power training.
Number 2, Over the Top.
In the night time, there is only love.
Sly Stallone was in his fair share of cheesy 80s movies, finding more and more ways for him to show off his physique, not to mention ego. His overly serious demeanor as an action hero, along with his muscles, were on display for cheese fests like Cobra. But on the premise alone, we have to give this slot to Over the Top.
If you want it, Mike, you gotta take it. Do you hear me? You gotta take it. Go in there and try. I know you can win. But even if you don't, so what? So you lose.
Stallone, who also co-wrote the film, plays a long-haul trucker named Hawk on a mission to reconnect with his estranged son the only way he knows how. Hawk partakes in some high-stakes arm wrestling. Set to an electronic score by Giorgio Moroder, who teamed with Kenny Loggins for the film's signature track, Hawk competes in the Arm Wrestling World Championships in Las Vegas, looking for glory and redemption.
Hawk and Son.
What do you think of that?
Hawk and Son. Hawk and Son. Hey, I think it just might work.
Before we unveil our top pick, here are a few honorable mentions. Batteries not included. Little aliens save the apartment complex.
Habla español. Están perdidos. Don't hurt anybody, okay?
UHF, Weird Al's magnum opus.
Did you get fired again?
Yes, it's all true. I just don't know what's wrong with me.
So what's for dinner?
The Apple, a biblical allegory musical set in the far-off future of 1994.
Holy apple, mystery apple, juju apple, oh voodoo apple.
3 O'Clock High, a battle with an 80s high school bully.
Peckerhead, let's see what you got.
Roadhouse, a peaceful bouncer rips throats to save a small town.
Somebody get a drink around here?
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. The Adventures of Buckaroo Banzai Across the 8th Dimension.
This is weird.
The titular Buckaroo, a half-Japanese physicist, rock star, and neurosurgeon who acts as a test pilot in his spare time, has invented a way to travel through solid matter. However, a group of evil aliens, led by John Lithgow doing an Italian accent, seek to steal his device in order to bring their maniacal leader out of interdimensional exile.
You're not getting jack from me until you let Penny out of this junkyard.
Curse you, Banzai! Don't you realize what you're saying? Your whole plan is going to be destroyed and you sit here wasting time!
Cheesy elements include an attempt to start World War III, a previously unknown twin sister of Banzai's deceased wife that he falls in love with, and Jeff Goldblum in a cowboy suit. And that's just scratching the surface. The fact that Buckaroo Banzai was even made by a major studio is kind of a miracle.
There is little time. You better come quickly if your planet is still important to you.
Leave her to me. You take care of business.
What's your favorite slice of 80s cheese? Let us know in the comments below.
Wait a minute.
Yes?
I mean, I'd just like to talk to you.
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.